you're being disposed. But welcome to the big conversation here on Culture Daily. If you see any man who is smiling by force, know that he's the one I'm talking about. And of course, we are just two ladies in here, so you can tell who is disposing who. But we are about to have a conversation about what we started yesterday, and of course it started from the weekend. We only jumped into it yesterday. We want to see another angle to it because so many questions have been asked, so many revelations have been made, so many allegations have also been made, and people have been roped in here and there, including people who were not called, also enjoying. Charlie, yesterday one of the things that I enjoyed watching on Twitter was Nungwa de Paul. I had to ask Lily at a certain point, that was the meaning of Nungwa de Paul. So he showed me, actually explained to me what it means. So, but joining us you don't know Nungwa de Paul.
That Kim Promise.
So the question was, why is Kim Promise being called Nungwa de Paul? And so Olele did the answering. And so maybe he will answer again on air for those who do not know. But it's interesting how Wizkid Live has brought about a lot of conversations from the weekend into Tuesday. The conversation is still Wizkid Live in Ghana. He trended yesterday as well. And Another Samoa Beidu, who is going to set the tone for the conversation this morning, is an entertainment, he likes to be called an entertainment journalist of great repute, I must say. Yeah. And he said, and I quote, artist performance, $800,000 travel allowance, $225,000 plus performance fee for supporting acts, venue, logistic, ticketing, promotion, marketing, albeit lackluster. What's that?
Lackluster, like an uneventful.
Yeah.
Okay, so like miscellaneous.
Yeah. No, not miscellaneous. No. But like, how do we explain this?
Albeit lackluster. Oh, you should have that to that line. Okay. He's saying that as even so he was listing the things and he's saying that all these things just for a substandard experience.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uninspiring.
So he says the result is lukewarm project, bad press, ruined reputation, and a possibility of refund. Now, his question: would you, as an investor, give this venture another try if you had the chance? There's a piece for every player and all the cheerleaders. It's coming. I'm sure he's saying that he's about to write a whole article. We trust Arnold on that. But we will try ahead of his article to get him to comment on what he's posted. Is he truly talking about Wizkid Life in Ghana? Are these figures anything to go by? And where did he get his figures? Are they just speculations? And what else do we need to know about Wizkid Life? Remember that he didn't perform at the Accra Sports Stadium. He didn't also perform in Abidjan. And we also heard that some members of his crew were picked up. How true is that? Somebody posted yesterday that, na lie, oh, na lie. How true is that? What's been the update, if there's any, from that camp? Why did he perform in Sierra Leone? Is it true what we hear that it's the same event organizer that had all these three concerts? Why did he boycott Accra? Why did he boycott Abidjan if it's the same organizer? We get to answer some more questions. Of course, Olele Salvador is in studio. Lenny is in studio. Lenny, I almost said Lenny Akpalu.
Wow. Lenny Akpalu.
You know, that band is called what?
Akpadi.
Yes. What is he?
I don't even know.
Lenny Akpadi. Do you know him? Olele, do you remember Lenny Akpadi?
No, please.
Oh, are you a Yangi?
Oh,
Is it
me too, I don't know.
You don't know Lenny Akpadi? You know, I didn't ask you because I thought
Jehovah,
you
are the most high.
I know the song, I don't know who sang it.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
That man was a teacher at Mauli Secondary School. Yeah, Lenny Akpadi was a teacher. Eduja, we are on your day.
Oh, wow.
But like one of Haji.
Oh, he's asking whether
Lenny Akpadi understands
whether he eats salt.
Whether he eats salt, that's what we say. So if you are with any ever, they say Eduja. They are asking whether you eat salt, whether you eat salt, whether you understand Eve. Nungwa de Paul.
Rodrigo Nungwa de Paul.
So for those of you who don't understand, I'm surprised that you don't understand.
So you know, but serious sports director.
Oh no, I know.
I'm surprised that you put
the reference to what's his face?
Nungwa de Paul.
No, to our brother. What's his name? Yeah, that's the connection I want him to explain.
Is that follow?
I
know. I saw the cropping. Somebody cropped the head and put it there.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
so you know, apart from Rodrigo playing in Argentina, right, with Messi, right?
Seriously, he messed up the thing already.
You see, Rodrigo de Paul, right? He has just one job, and his job is to follow anybody with the ball, right? whether he's in defense, midfield, strike, he just do the dirty work for Messi. Do you get what I'm saying? Just do the. In fact,
I don't want to laugh at you, promise.
On and off the pitch. So on the pitch, Charlie, your man is dying. He's killing himself for Messi.
Charlie.
Off the pitch, he defends Messi.
Are you serious? Even off the pitch?
Yes.
Those of you laughing at promise. If you get, you know go some.
That's what you
Bro,
also
me, that's
If your friend had a private jet going around, you know go sit inside. Let's hear.
People even said if you had a friend who gave you arguably one of the biggest songs, they say Tokyo is his biggest song internationally. That's what you're saying. I don't know what the stream says or the number says.
King Promise?
King Promise.
Oh, okay.
I take you to Tokyo, whatever. They said, because he had Wiz on it.
Oh.
So Wiz helped him, to get the song global. Basically, if you follow the Twitter
But having
conversations.
access to the personality and having access to the machine behind the personality, that
I mean, you
moves
have
the
to get the
machine
personality
to get to that
first
point.
before
He
you-
has gotten
he
the
introduce
personality
you.
for how many months
He's
now?
enjoying PG.
No, I
Private
think
jet
it's-
is part of knowing
I'm
the
honest,
personality.
it's just too
I'm
much.
going to be very honest, yo.
It's too much.
Look, forget anybody.
Enjoy.
I enjoy your life.
Yeah, I did that, bro.
If only had a jet. I'll go and
No,
let
bro, what are you talking about? I'm
Wait,
going to
hold on.
What are you
They're
talking
not
about?
asking him not to enjoy, not to be friends with Wizkid.
But it should not be Nungwa de Paul.
It should be to an extent. Do you understand? The friendship is great. It's
Yeah.
okay. But you're also a brand.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
So exalt yourself as the brand you are and stop making it look like you're just follow back.
What about if he's a brand who acknowledges that another brand is bigger than his, and so
That's
he
what I'm
has to
saying.
follow
That
back,
doesn't work
That's
well.
fine. That's
and
okay.
enjoy
But also,
the privileges that comes with knowing that
It's
brand.
not bad. It's okay to recognize.
That's like working at the Benz showroom and coming to work in a BMW.
No, it's okay to recognize that
It defeats
somebody
the
is
purpose.
above you,
If you
right?
are-
It's okay to recognize that someone is above
But
you.
don't
It's
overdo
okay,
it.
exactly. But you also have some value, also carry some weight to an extent. So don't let people just mock you or look down on you because of how you've positioned yourself.
Maybe he doesn't see it that way. It's more like, being a brother's keeper. My brother is in trouble, so let me also join him so that he doesn't feel
That's
alone.
one day.
So if they are dragging him, let them drag us together. He will say, "Oh, there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother, and that friend is Kim Promise."
We are sure.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
because
so-
why didn't Moogies do the same? Because they were also built to perform. Moogies, R2Bs in general, so we're built to perform.
But you know
but
what
they didn't
I
release a
find, what I
statement.
find interesting? Darkovibes is equally in the same circle, right? But he showed up to perform.
Go back to Darkovibes conversation here.
Yeah.
He tells you the guy
He
is a
said on our
different
porch
breed.
cry he'll perform.
Yeah.
Darkovibes. If
I
you own
mean,
the system-
Have you even seen their video?
Darkovibes
Darkovibes
is
video
hot.
of the performance.
If you are
It
not there,
doesn't
you
even
think
look like
the place was
the
not full.
place exactly. The angles and
the
everything
man who came
spot
here,
on.
he said our porch here cry he'll perform.
Spot on.
So getting that
But
opportunity,
all things
and that's
being equal-
the fire we need.
All things being equal, I mean, I like him Promise because I love his music, and I think he should really take this into serious consideration if indeed that is the path he wants to tow. Regardless of whether Wizkid is a friend or not, music is a business, and when you get contracted to perform or show up, you show up, and after you can go and enjoy yourself wherever you want to, because at the end of the day, Ghanaians felt betrayed. That was the kind of energy I was speaking on the internet, that for us to even not consider the fact that he didn't show up, and the conversation was heavy on Wizkid not show, because to be very honest,
Nobody
people
was complaining about Kim Promise.
exactly, and nobody actually paid to come and see Kim Promise, Darkovibes,
Yeah.
or RTBs. Let's be very honest. They came because
Because to cut you,
Yes.
right, we are going to see all of them on the other platforms.
exactly.
His
exactly.
Promised Land
So
is
the
never coming.
exclusive priority was
Because of that, it's affected
Wizkid.
the PR for Promised Land. Now the conversation is, okay, I be you too. You also have your Promised Land coming. You see who's going to show up. Even though I
yes,
find it
go
as
plenty,
hogwash.
go full up.
Yeah,
Those who go will go.
They'll
That's
go.
the
Promised
thing.
Land,
I
they
find
go.
that
Go.
as hogwash. But I'm just saying that, to be very honest, people did not come to the stadium to see Kim Promise, Darkovibes, or RTBs, even though we all loved their music.
Yeah.
They came because of the Wizkid factor.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So for you to tap into the fact that, okay, Wizkid has apologized, so me to let me, and stating the same. You see, my problem with Kim Promise's apology is the fact that he stated the same reasons Wizkid
But if
stated.
it's the same reason, why not?
He's production
No,
and
but-
safety. Really promise? No, really promise? No.
Then you can go and stand at Teshi and perform.
Are you telling me
about production and safety?
Are you saying Teshi is not safe?
No,
like that's the kind of conversation to open.
No, but that's what is happening on Twitter, actually.
Free concerts. You can go and stand at Teshi and perform.
Today I am for the streets.
But it is stadium security right now that is bothering you.
That is not his territory. Nungwa people, I'm a plan.
No. It's your territory. Ghana is your territory.
Today, me and Miss G, we are for the streets.
Listen.
No. That one there, to be very honest, is not right.
They are protecting their treasure.
It's the same way he's Ghanaian, and so they'll still protect their treasure if that's what it is.
Two things, and this is not has nothing to do with the organizers. Two things that can go wrong and affect King Promise. Maybe the stage will collapse, which will not happen. Secondly, something will like
the Kwashe boys will come and carry from the stage. That's safety.
The Kwashe boys will even take picture of King Promise. No. The Kwashe boys, they'll put their Kwashe aside. So Charlie put the knife down, maybe take picture. Nobody's going to Kwashe King Promise.
Honestly, it was
please, if you want to Kwashe King Promise, put it on our Facebook. Let's see. Nobody wants to Kwashe King Promise.
I mean, I just feel like that was an unfortunate.
No, you see, it begs a bigger conversation. Brand building is different from being popular and famous, right? Being popular and famous, that happens to you. But taking that and converting it into a brand, it's a whole different conversation.
No, but to be fair, King Promise has had. I think he succeeded in building that brand.
No, he's built a brand around the success of his music.
Okay,
but when King Promise is not tied directly to any successful music-related issue, and the person is just there, and the brand is just there. How does that communicate?
Okay, I see what you mean.
It's like we know what Rihanna is doing. She hasn't released a song in 6 years. Yeah. That's not famous and popular. That's brand.
Brand, yeah.
You understand? Right. Jay-Z hasn't released a song until he did God Did in like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. That's brand.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
Our people are so closely tied to the fame and popularity of the work they keep doing.
Yeah.
That the moment there's a drop in that, what do I do in the meantime? How do I sustain that value? How do I resell it? Because you can have Sarkodie can make money off the way she did be Maspeko. That's brand. He doesn't necessarily need to do jams today unless he chooses to.
That's right.
You understand? So we need to get into that conversation some other time because that's what's happening now. The reason why they are laughing at King Promise is because as a brand, he did something that the fans thought was uncalled for.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they don't love him for his music.
Yeah, and
I hope we need to explore that for all of
like you can still consume a King Promise song and still see the person and be vexed because
maybe that's why he's releasing a statement that you don't get so vexed that you don't come for Promised Land.
No, you see,
who said that because Wizkid didn't come, we won't go for Promised Land?
Because nobody said
it. No. They were saying that because of the apology he promised released. And the reasons he stated. You see, the apology is not a problem. It's the reasons he stated.
Unless 64th Battalion are on the stage with him at Promised Land.
See what you put.
Unlike other situations where perhaps the crowd or the audience use the same route as the VIPs and whatnot. At the stadium, they were given special entry and special exits. For the artists. The only thing that didn't happen was the artist village, which we'll talk about later. But they were given, and even before you get to the main stage, you had to be go-karted. You go through a tunnel, and then they take you to the stage.
Oh, the tunnel happened?
Yes. Like the way the football players come out of the tunnel. That's how they got to the stage. So if you say security, I'm not too sure what you mean by security because...
Safety.
What kind of safety are you talking about? Because
right now, we are doing the job that his PR should have done.
No, it's not a PR that told him to release statements.
We don't know.
I think that's a conversation another time we should have, Ricky. How artists decide to put out statements, decide to respond to things.
Do they even have PR?
Exactly. Whether it was being properly advised. All of us sometimes fall short of these things. Even when they go for interviews, whether they actually ask for synopsis and say, look, let's not go here. Let's not tackle this. And it's, I know people who will just come and say, hey, I'm managing, don't ask Lenny why her hair is dyed this color, blah, 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 blah. If you ask her, what would happen when the person defies that and asks the person on a live TV, what have you told your artists to do? How do they handle that and things like that? I don't think that is one of the things that...
artists even listen to their PRs? If there is PR and if there's a PR team.
Because I'm the one making
they
the
even
money.
listen, you see... See,
You see,
it's okay.
you see, it's because
Maybe I'm taking the team personal.
even with the PR bit, yeah, at least with what we've experienced, especially with me, my light years, right? PR has moved away from just releasing a statement. It's become more of strategy.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Because if you think it's just about releasing a statement, anybody at all can release a statement these
They
days.
just release statements.
You get what I'm saying? But you should release in a way it tackles the situation. It does not infuriate your fans and still keeps your brand. And I use the same Wizkid for the example, right? When Wizkid released Apology, he mentioned production, he mentioned safety, then he mentioned his brand. So now people are like, okay, cool. Because already there were conversations that were happening about the brand. Okay, cool. But a few holes were around the Apology in the sense that he didn't acknowledge the organizers, because organizers already said that he had breached a contract. He didn't tackle that. He only said, as far as his brand is concerned, his production and safety is a key factor. No problem. When he got to Cotonou, and I saw the stage where he performed, and I even saw how he entered the stage. Cyril,
standing on the
that
stage,
was when I realized that the Apology wasn't genuine. Because if you look at the stage he performed at Cotonou, and how he even got to the stage, and the people on the stage, and you compare that to the stage that was built in Accra Sports Stadium, a big stage where he would have had the freedom, bro.
And police.
But do you think...
security.
So if you tell me that production and safety is the reason why you couldn't perform in Accra, then boss.
Maybe
What are you talking
Cotonou
about?
is safer than Accra.
No disrespect to our Benin brothers, but I'm just saying, bro, what do you mean by Cotonou is safer
Accra
than
is
Accra?
one of the safest countries in
But
the
maybe
world.
in Wizkid's estimation and his
cities
experience,
in the world.
after living in this country for how long, he realized that Cotonou is safer than Accra.
You know, it's okay.
Don't worry. When Anita brings
thankful.
Wizkid, we'll ask him.
We are thankful for his service.
We are thankful for his
Yeah,
service.
yeah, thankful for
You
his
know, I was
service.
going to actually go into that Cotonou thing because I realized that Mr. Easy was there. You said what? Bella Schneider
No.
was there.
Yeah.
And who else was there?
Only he hasn't taken medicine.
You know, and he went
Kim
to
Promise
he
was
went to
there as
Mojis
well.
and
Mojis,
Kim
yes.
Promise. So it almost felt like the concert in Cotonou was not just for Kim Promise. It looked like
Wizkid, though.
Wizkid.
And even Kim Promise performed.
I was going to say, was Kim
So you see-
Promise built to perform?
That's what I'm saying. That it looked like because Bella
he wasn't built to perform.
On the flyer, he wasn't. Look, let me
See how watered down that
But
is.
you are the one who said wherever Messi goes.
No, it's so watered down.
let me
Ball
give you-
goes,
let me
where
give
the
you-
ball must go.
Let me give you
How? You are not built
the
to
lineup.
perform. You follow somebody and then
need
you
the
go and
safety
perform.
issues in your country.
As
Let me-
big a brand as you are, Kim Promise
let
is
me
such
give
a
you
big
the
brand.
lineup.
Like
So-
you are not like an upcoming artist that you
I haven't
say
seen
you
Lenny like
want
this
the
before.
platform.
This one they pay her.
It's annoying.
They
pay
Yeah.
her.
So
No, Kim Promise is solid. He's a solid brand, and so when these things happen, I'm like, why is it happening? 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
you're a big
Oh,
brand,
yeah.
exactly.
That
You don't
thing
have
we
to
do
take
make
this.
So this event
tangent.
was called We Love Ya, right? It was powered by Move Africa. These were the artists on the bill.
Move Africa. OOV.
So at least,
The-
so
the-
at least one of the things, like you're going to say, one thing is certain: it wasn't a Wizkid concert.
No.
Okay.
It was like say like an Afrochella, but they brought artists. But Wizkid was obviously
The headliner.
the biggest act on the stage. So you have Wizkid, you have X Time, you have Bax Kote, you have Manzor, you have Togbe Yaton, you have Sesame, you have DJ Nisa, Tiakola,
don't even
Yalavis.
know all these
Then
names.
the only names that we probably would know here are Bella Shemaida and Rema, because they had Bobby Wee and Blood. So the only
Rema was also on the
Rema was
show?
also on the bill.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
Let me chop
So
lawyer.
Kim Promise, by virtue of what is here on the official Instagram page, Kim Promise was
Yeah,
not
Olele.
on the bill.
It is
Maybe
with love
King
that
Promise
I
is
write you this
signed.
missive. So the speculation or the word in the air, rumor, is that Wizkid was engaged for that sum that Arnold has put there, $800,000 for 3 shows. And the 3 shows were supposed to be at the discretion of Live Hub, who engaged Wizkid. One show being Accra,
Other being
the
Abidjan.
other Abidjan, and then Cotonou. Now, due to logistics and country issue restrictions and blah blah, Live Hub has to partner with local event bodies to execute in Abidjan and Cotonou.
Yeah.
So what you are saying, it looks like the local event firm in Cotonou already had their festival,
Yeah, they
but we're
we love your
willing
festivals,
to
yeah.
put Wizkid as the headliner if Live Hub could coordinate him getting there to deliver a performance. Same thing with Abidjan. So in defense of King Promise and everybody else who might not have been on the poster but performed, it was a new market. It was an open opportunity. It's like saying, I'm serial, I'm on 3 Music, and I go to RTP, and I wasn't slated to give an award out. But I ended up giving an award out on Saturday. I didn't complain about it, but I leveraged it because there's a benefit to everybody. Listen. No. That's why I said, let me chop lawyer. Let's look at it. Lenny,
how can you compare them?
Lenny wants to beat you. Because I didn't buy watch yesterday, Lenny wants to beat you.
How can you compare that?
So let me catch you small,
Are you saying that if King Promise got to Cotonou and there was an audience there and he knows very well that they know his songs and there's an opportunity for him to get on stage as a dynamic artist,
he should pay him?
Sometimes it's not about the money.
Who is ensuring that
you his manager? Why which one concern you?
Who is ensuring that he's safety?
Which one concern you? Which one concern you?
Let me cut in small. You see,
cutting though.
Have you sterilized it before you're cutting me?
Look, I love King Promise. I'm sure all of us do.
Yes,
we do.
Why do you think I'm chopping lawyer?
King Promise is unproblematic. He's one of the few unproblematic artists we have.
Are
in
you
this
sure?
country. Oh,
we need to ask Sadiq.
Oh, I whatever he has with Sadiq, that's your personal
culture dating.
Very good. My point is, I wouldn't have had any problem. Matter of fact, it would be beautiful to see Promise perform in Cotonou because we've always advocated that our artists should start looking at our neighboring countries first, even before they go to the UK and stuff. Build your fan bases here or around Africa, then you go there. But the issue here is you fail to show up at your home concert. You failed to show up on the concert that you were built for.
Rolling Stone gathers no moss. You cannot be in Cotonou and crying about what.
But you also have to remember that the same fans are the ones that you expect to come to.
From a fan perspective, that's how. Listen,
but
from a fan
I won't sit here and talk as a journalist perspective because I can point you into that. I'm saying that as a fan.
Oh, why won't you?
No, because I want to see that as a fan first.
There's things we didn't know. We, from a viewer's perspective, are thinking that when Accra Jagon. That's when King Promise and Darkovibes and Co decided to enter playing with Wizkid and go.
Oh no, that's not what.
No, I don't doubt.
I think they already knew they were going to do 3 shows.
Yes, we know that they were going to.
And whatever happened in Accra, good or bad, they still needed to deliver show 2 and show 3.
And what Olile is asking, if I get, what's the difference between show A, which is in Accra, and show
which you've been built for?
Yeah,
because the one that you're not built for, you were on the stage for
to perform.
Baby,
it doesn't
add up. No,
it doesn't have to do anything.
That's what I'm saying. That I've said that I like King Promise. He's a good musician. I've said that. But based on what Cyril is saying, what doesn't add up is why you've been billed for a show in your own country that you've probably been paid for, that you don't show up to, and then you go perform at a show you've not been billed for. How does that correlate?
Who even pays
make
you?
it make sense.
Who pays you on that one?
I understand though.
And I'm saying something ensuring totally. Your safety and production issues, the one you were complaining about in your country. And looking at
how sure are you that one
looking at the stage on which you performed. You are standing by the stairs, when do you see that?
Yes.
And Mugis were standing on the stairs
when Wizkid was going.
What's safety about that?
You're not even seated in like a backstage
that's what I'm saying, that even the Wizkid apology now, it make a vex.
It's sad.
Because if you are telling me that it's okay, it's all right. I'm sure Ricky's speaking my
this
ears
one,
right
this is
now
what you say. It's okay.
Well,
I want to talk about Arnold's.
Let's go back to Arnold's post.
I want to chop lawyer for King Promise because I know how it is being an artist.
No, please.
Sometimes you get I understand the yawa. I am not complaining.
There wouldn't have been a problem if he had performed in Ghana and gone to perform on a show he wasn't built for in Cotonou. The fact that you've been billed and you didn't perform and you go somewhere that you've not been billed, that is the problem. This is your lawyer, no.
Sweetheart. Miss G, sweetheart.
Don't chop lawyer.
Okay, somebody has sent a message. I think there's a different reason Wiz didn't perform prior to the reason he stated. That's what Didi thinks. Okay, so
yeah, I mean,
things.
Sweetheart.
That's
there isn't there.
There's a reason he didn't perform prior to the reason that he stated.
Ladies.
So
yes, gentlemen.
So it means that the reason is not as genuine for him as it is. I'm going to come back to you guys. Let me just read some of the messages that we've got. So somebody tweeted earlier when we're talking about musicians and artists, and he says the one who plays the instruments, and I'm excited about this post because I don't know. He says the one who plays the instruments is the musician. The beat is the music. Song is the lyrics, and the one who writes the song, the one who writes is the songwriter. Singer is the one who sings the song. So this is slightly
from who?
From Nana Kwesi.
With this one, all we can say is thanks for your contribution.
Okay.
Because
just say Carl's is asking which of the girls is single. Please, I'm dating both.
Please, no, me, I'm not single. I'm not single. I'm not single, please. I'm not single. I told you, look at them. They are seated there. I'm not single.
Please, so. Both. Yeah? No, I don't like people's husbands.
Are you sure?
Hey.
I will say it and say it.
I'm a husband.
Back to the conversation.
I'll reiterate this.
Hey.
Somebody's husband I don't like.
In the midst of all this,
they don't make it like this anymore.
In the midst of all these revelations, what actually is cooling my temper and is quenching my thirst is $800,000 is a lot of money, and definitely that refund should happen. Definitely that refund, especially for those who paid $8,000 for, that platinum table and whatnot. I'm sure definitely they'll get their money back. So if indeed they are going to do refunds, $800,000, if indeed that's what Wizkid received, according to another someone.
So I'm being told by our producer, one of our producers, Ricky, that he was at one of the organizers. So somebody who was delegated or authorized by the organizer as part of the team was at their office, and yesterday people's refund process has started.
Oh, okay, sweet.
So they are starting to call people to say, how much do you pay? Like how can we get your money back to you?
No, but I hope they have a way of tracking it though, because anybody at 12 midnight. They open the gates for free
for everybody to come.
So I'm sure they have those who have paid and those.
So I just hope someone will not pop up and say, "Hey, I paid this or I paid that," and they don't have something to track it.
There are people who also believe that Wizkid is too big for an empty stadium. That's from Bright Nana Kwesi in Kansai. He says, Wizkid is, the truth be told, Wizkid is too big for an empty stadium. So they believe that the numbers you saw there were not numbers that were pleasing enough. Like I said, let's go back to Arnold's post. I think that we tried getting Arnold. I'm sure we have not been able to. Arnold has a big question, and he's hinged on being, if you were an investor, whether you would still come back after all of that. I have been asking whether he's really referring to the issue at hand. So he says, artist performance fee, $800,000 travel allowance, $25,000 plus performance fee for supporting acts. The venue, logistics, ticketing, promotion, marketing, albeit lackluster. That's it, And results from all of this is lukewarm projects, bad press, ruined reputation, or ruined, whichever way you want to say.
That's right, that word. Ruined. It's like, how do you say? Ruined. And how do you say that? Is it sweet or sweet?
Sweet.
Unsweet.
No.
Unsweet. Yeah. That's when the E
no, it's very sharp.
I also for pills.
And he says, ruined reputation and the possibility of refund. His question, would you, as an investor, give this venture another try if you had the chance? There is a piece for every player. And all the cheerleaders, it's coming. So I'm anticipating, an article. I not always write articles.
$800,000 is 10 million cedis.
For just one person.
Hey. Well, let's go quickly on Zoom.
This is why I miss J. Foley today. Because if J. Foley was here, J. Foley would take us into Shatawale.
Our Domini
That was in Freetown when all of that was happening.
School.
He performed in Freetown when all of that's happening. But, proud days to the event, he had actually done a video.
It was actually the aftermath of the Hobechocho Festival. We watched that. That was the full. Remember, we watched the full.
Oh, it's part of that.
So it was
he eating when we were watching that?
Yes, it was eating. You were even saying that,
I thought he was eating watching that day. This one looked like rice.
In Italia.
Yeah. And you know what he did? Shata is actually a character, He separated the gari.
No, then that means he wasn't watching because what he was eating this one.
Pay attention to the video, pal.
No, bro, Charlie, your man is too much.
This one was rice. Yeah,
no,
rice.
Charlie, you see, this is what Shatta keeps saying.
No, but let's go first and speak to Kojo Manuel. Quickly.
The MVP.
Charlie,
Wizkid in Accra.
Biggest MVP.
The performer of the night.
So Kojo Manuel, he'll tell us, I think he was hired to be the hype man of the event. He might tell us otherwise if that's it. And he's joining us to tell us about that evening. I hear he had to stay long on the microphone trying to keep the energy of the people who were in the stadium. Good morning to you. Kojo Manuel, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Miss G.
Charlie, congratulations to you. Everybody say you hold the show, you be the MVP, be the big guy and all of that. First off, I'm sure you're swollen-headed.
Not really. I was having this conversation yesterday where everybody was like, oh, we think that you're, the MVP like you're saying. And I'm like, I don't feel that way because I went through one of the worst experiences when it comes to hosting an event, because I understand that the show is not about me and it shouldn't be about me. So when it ends up being about me, then definitely people will not be happy because they paid money to watch Wizkid and not me.
What were you told from the beginning? How many hours was slated to you or allocated to you? What did the organizers tell you?
Basically, the only information I got was the fact that, oh, you're the main host of the event and you're just going to fill in certain spaces whenever we have hitches, but you're the main person to sort of introduce the artist all the way till Wizkid comes on. So that was like the rough thing. There wasn't like a very strict regimen of how the show was going to be, aside the program lineup that was given. And if you realize the time we started the event, whatever time slot was allocated to performances and the time of the performances was inconsequential because we were late. We were hours late. We were supposed to start somewhere around 7 officially. I ended up starting at 10. So it was just a matter of, oh, you're going to fill in the spaces and we don't even need you for a long time. This is what a stage manager told me. We don't need you to be on stage for long. When you're introducing the artists, don't talk too much because we don't have time. So we need to go. And that got me excited because I don't have to do too much. But then obviously that wasn't the case.
Now let's take it one after the other. I like what you said. So at what point were you told that you were going to start? Were you going to start at 7? What happened when it didn't start at 7? What was the communication you received?
There wasn't any proper communication, honestly. I was actually trying to sort out tickets for my team and a couple of people as well. So I called one friend of mine that was already in the place, and then he indicated that they were not ready. Because technically, if we're supposed to start at 7, by 6, if I'm not there, I should be getting calls. But there were no calls. I was setting off, and I was like, wait, why is it that I'm not hearing anything? Nobody's saying anything. It's like, oh, that's because they're not ready. So it was a thing of me trying to rush to be there on time, but then realizing that they were not ready to start the show because of certain logistic issues that were not, in place yet.
So when were you told that it's time to go on? And when you got there, you realized they had not started. Did the organizers try to tell you for A, B, C reason, even though we engage you for a certain number of hours, we might exceed those hours?
I think the MO of this whole event has been pressure. It's been pressure. It feels like there was so much going on and they didn't have enough hands on deck. So at some point, you sort of have a bit of pity for whatever was going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. Because for every other time that I had an issue that I wanted to bring up, it seemed like they were handling a bigger issue, and it makes you feel like you're being inconsiderate when you're asking for, oh, my writer said this, I'm supposed to receive this at this time. So it got to a point you just allow them. Okay, hopefully let's have a good show. Let me not be the thorn in the flesh of them. So let me do my best. And at the end of the day, I can address whatever issues that went on that I didn't enjoy or didn't like.
Okay.
We didn't hear the last bit. The whole thing went mute. I thought it was from your end.
Oh, apologies for that. I'm saying that in terms of how like the timing and what they told me, it wasn't anything that was fixed. Like I said, I was helping my team get their tickets. Nobody said anything to me. It was a stage manager I was introduced to who told me that, oh, when we are ready, we're going to go. And that was around 10, because that's when my ticketing issues were sorted out for myself and my team.
So considering the time you got there, all the time you had to spend and all of that, I'd want you to share with us some of the difficulties that you faced exactly, and then if any at all.
No, there were a lot of difficulties because there was a very big gap in communication. And aside the fact that when I was sorting out my tickets, I met one of the organizers. That was literally my last sort of communication with them. When I got there, stage manager was happy to run through the show as quickly as possible. But whenever he got on stage, there was, a dip in sound here and there. And they had 2 DJ sets. They ended up using one because apparently one wasn't working when they needed it. So at every point that an artist DJ would come and play for the artist, or we're switching from one DJ to the other, I had to engage the crowd. So it seemed as if, Manuel just wants to talk. But sometimes I'm just talking because the DJ is not ready and we're just killing the time. And all those things sort of give a different mood to an event, because then it feels like, why is he talking so much? Why are we not moving to the next thing? But all of those things was because there were little hitches of delay and the technical issues in the back that were not sorted yet. And I just had to engage the crowd till it was sorted behind me. And that thing ran through from the beginning all the way to the end.
Wow. Bro, I wanted to know if you could give us some details of what an MC's rider looks like. We have an idea what the artists and the performance riders look like, but you mentioned that you had your rider, some things weren't provided, you wanted to check on it, but it was kind of like you were being an inconvenience at that time. I just want you to get into that a little bit for us, know exactly what was required for them to provide to enable you do your job. And then secondly, it sounded like you were more of holding it together than actually doing the job you were there to do. And how that affects you as an MC, because let's say you are contracted to do A, but you end up finding yourself doing B and C. Does that mean in billing you've gone beyond the scope that you were engaged for? How does that affect your pocket? Because obviously you were brought in to do one thing and you end up doing a ton of other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to start with the first question, the rider. I'm a very easygoing person, because when you start understanding that, there is something called a rider, which I think a lot of even artists and other MCs and DJs do not know about. When you do realize, you're like, so I can ask that I need this kind of bottle, this kind of whatever. Me, I'm very easygoing. I only work with water when I'm on stage. I only ask that if I have a team, their tickets be provided for. That's basically it. And then the sound is working and I'm getting my money. That's it. The reason why I mentioned the rider was that I was coming with a specific number of people. I asked for passes for my team and tickets for the people that I'm coming with but are not part of the team. So that understanding was also like something that was part of the rider. And then that's where the first problem came from, because they didn't provide the tickets. So even when I got there, I had to be outside for over an hour plus, trying to make sure that my people had their tickets. Because I couldn't go with them.
An all-access pass, staff, any other higher level pass, you had a ticket.
Yeah, no. So from my understanding, I was supposed to have passes for my team, and then have VIP tickets for people that I wanted to bring that were not part of the team. Guests. Yeah, but then when we got there, I think one of my people got there first, and then they gave her all my passes, all the passes for the team, and none of the tickets. So I was like, wait, why did you give her passes and not tickets? They're like, this is what we have. And they are taking information for these people. So when it came down to it, they didn't even send them any email, because for those tickets, they're supposed to get the barcodes and stuff, and they didn't. So I had to come back. I was at the entrance for over an hour. trying to make sure that everybody got their tickets before I went. So I think that was one of the first things. Yeah.
Kojo, obviously we've seen you save the day a lot of times when it comes to these events. I think even at Global Citizen, you did what you did to hold it down. What was the difference between what you experienced at Global Citizen and this one? And when did you realize that it was everything was going left?
Oh, this question. So Global Citizen obviously has become the standard for everything, right? So if I'm to go through what went right at Global Citizen and went wrong at this, it's going to be a very long list. It's going to be a very, very long list. But I feel like when it comes to how efficient the team was at Global Citizen, it's like the team backstage were actually like 2 acts ahead every time. You know, like they had like different setups for different performances. So if, let's say, we have Gyakie on stage, and up next is Sarkodie, and after Sarkodie, say Scissor, they have already built Sarkodie's stage, whatever mini stage setup that they have on one corner, and they're building Scissors on while Gyakie's performing. So, and everything had wheels. The DJ booth would be just wheeled off the stage when they needed us to go off, and then bring it back. And ahead of time, they'll tell you that, oh, we have all these spaces covered, so you're supposed to come on at this time, but we don't need you to come on until there's a problem. Because there was also a delay with Global Citizen that people didn't know. Like there was about 10 or 15 minutes delay because they had an issue with the lights. So they cut off one of my sessions to fill up for the space. And then when there was actually a break, then they made me come in. You understand? So every time they are they are trying to fill in spaces because I'm not the most important person on the event because the artists are supposed to perform. So if they're supposed to cut anybody's time, it's my time. But when they needed somebody to fill in because there was a deficit, then I was the person that was put up there. In this case, I was more of a constant thing than even the artists, the performers that were coming. I was more integral to the show than anything else, which isn't the ideal situation ever. I think what was your second question?
I mean, when did you realize that everything was going left at the Wizkid concert, and you had to obviously double or triple up to hold it down?
Yeah, so I think towards around the time Darkovibes, and just before when Kelvynboy performed, I was told to announce that the people that were usually in the original VIP space for the stadium, where the commentators' booth is, all the people that are on that side, I should announce for them to move to the other side so the view looks better. That was a big red flag for me because why are you trying to make it look better? Is it to send a picture to Wizkid? Is it like at that point, I knew that there was something.
Kojo, just a quick one. Just to be clear, did you say that it was announced that the crowd should move into a particular portion of the stage so that the view will look better? Just to be clear, I think we lost that when you said that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So can you I got that. I don't know the reason. So I don't know the reason. But then I was told to get the people to move from one side of the stadium to join the fuller part of the stadium.
Wow.
And that for me made me feel like, oh, like you need that to show somebody there's something going on that needs to be fixed, right? But I wasn't privy to that information. So at that point, I was doing my very best to kill time, So when EFYA came on stage, I was very glad because in my mind, the same way a lot of people think about RTBs, I think of EFYA that way.
Right.
That if EFYA was on stage, that means Wizkid is somewhere at
the back.
But when EFYA was done, they were like, oh, Wizkid is not here yet. So hold the crowd. They are now at the hotel. Kim Promise, RTBs, Wizkid at the hotel. So hold it down till they get here. And I know Kempinski is 5 minutes away. So I didn't really panic. Till I was on stage and they brought dancers. And then I realized that, no, this is not on the program lineup. This is a bigger red flag because they're now...
An ad hoc situation.
Yeah, at that point, it's like we are throwing anything because nobody told me anything. But then it's like you just throw another sort of act on stage. Wow. And I realized that, oh no, like whatever is going on is not good at this point. So my first thought was, okay, let's keep the music going. So that was putting pressure on the DJs, because obviously at some point you played most of the songs. You start to repeat the songs. Things start to go off. So it's like, let's find a way to fix it. Well, and I also had one of my worst experiences ever on stage because someone threw a bottle at me. And literally that is when I left the stage, because I felt like I had done what I was supposed to do for as long as I could. I could see the frustration in the eyes of the people. It has moved from people enjoying what I did to people now beginning to see me as a nuisance because I've been on stage for way too long. And that's when it hit me, and I was like, no, I had to leave the stage.
Wow, so that's when we experienced the dead silence for a very long time, because I realized that even after your brother...
At what time was this? We want to know, because we don't want to assume that was when we experienced the dead silence. At what time did you leave? That when did they throw the bottle at you, and at what time did you leave? Because like he said, there was a point they said there was some dead silence, but that one they said he came back.
Yeah, no.
They said he came back.
Even after he came back, at some point in time, there was another like...
So when did you leave? When did you exit the building or the facility?
I'm struggling to remember the exact time, but I know it was after 2 a.m., but before 3. It was in between 2 and 3.
There are people who have said that Wizkid was in the building. Did you at any point see Wizkid in that facility? Did you see him at the Accra Sports Stadium? Were you told at any point that, he's coming, he's in his waiting area? Did you at any point hear that, anybody from his team? Because there are people who also said that his DJs came to play. You were on stage. Did you see his DJs come to play? Yeah. Did his live band come? There are too many suggestions or opinions that we've heard. So did you see his DJ come to play? Did you hear that he had come to the stadium? What did you know about Wizkid and his team on that stage?
So let me start from when I left the stage. So I left somewhere, let's say 2:20-ish, because it was a little right after 2 p.m. when I left the stage. So it was just the DJ playing. It wasn't dead silence completely. But then I was actually about to leave. I was thinking of leaving because I was trying to get hold of the organizers and couldn't. So somewhere around after 3 towards maybe around 3:30, then I see DJ Tunes, who is official DJ for Wizkid, pull up. So that's when a lot of people around the backstage, where everybody was worried because nobody had information and everybody was just down, like, what's happening? We don't know what's happening. There was nobody from the official team that was there to give us information. The stage manager was there, like, let's try and keep it going till we can, like as long as we can. So we see DJ Tunes and everybody has a sigh of relief because we thought Wizkid was coming. He came with Pokoli and a couple of people. But I don't know, the live band didn't, I didn't see the live band like actually go into the elements and start playing or anything. But there were a couple of people around that would suggest where the band, and Tunes played for somewhere 30 minutes. And that's actually what, in my opinion, made it worse, because it's like Sarkodie about to perform and you hear DJ Mensah. You know that, Sarkodie is right backstage. He's about to come on. And that's the kind of feeling that Tunes gave everybody. Because when he started mentioning his name, playing his liners, everybody heard DJ Tunes and Wizkid is about to come on. But then he just played his music and at a point took a dig at the organizers, and that was it.
Oh, he did live on stage. He said something about the organizers?
Yeah, he said something about they coming correct. So then again, it goes back to the same question of we not knowing exactly what agreement they had and whatever issues they had. So obviously there was some misunderstanding, but we don't know the exact. But then he came on, played for about 30 minutes, which I thought wasn't ideal, because it sort of fooled the people, in quotes, even more, to hear DJ Tunes playing and not having Wizkid come on stage.
I wanted to ask, bro, you've been at a lot of events. You've hosted a lot of great, successful events, from the customer experience to ticketing to access to how you yourself are treated, being able to reach the organizers and all that. I want you to maybe tell me like 5 things that you noticed that, were pivotal but led to this unfortunate outcome of the event? I mean, we all know about the ticketing. You being in there, the backstage, on stage, having to deal with your team and everything. I want you to maybe at least list some 3 or 5 things that you think went really wrong, that if were checked would have maybe saved the day.
I mean, obviously the ticketing would be one, because mine wasn't handled properly as well as everybody else. There was also the issue of how forthcoming they were with booking like some of the DJs, because DJ Mike Smith did not play because he was put in a slot he wasn't happy with, and there was no organizer around to sort of resolve the issue, because technically it's not the stage manager's duty to fix that problem. But then we couldn't get hold of any organizer. And this is early. This is before I came on stage even. So first thing would be the ticketing. Second thing was communication with the organizers. At any point, it looked as if nobody on stage had information about what was happening next. And we're just going great. There were moments where I had to literally go back to tell the technical and the sound people to bring the sound up. There was a lot of unnecessary delays. Like I'm saying, my craft is not necessarily supposed to be a thing where you have the MC and the DJ just standing on stage for a long period of time. The MC is supposed to sort of navigate the event, moderate, take him through this person is the next person, that person, the next person. And as a hype man, there are times that are allocated for you to actually jam with the DJ. So when that is all over the place, then the value of what I do even goes down just because of that. So that was another thing. And I think lastly, there were a lot of inconsistencies. Let me call it inconsistencies with, the ticketing and the area, the VIP area and the VVIP area, people not getting their tables and stuff. So all of that brought around like an air of frustration. And the only hope that people had was the belief that Wizkid was coming. And I was also part of the people that had the belief and the hope that Wizkid was coming because I had no information. That's why I kept saying, Wizkid, you want a party? And I know people hated me for it because I also believed that he was coming. So when he didn't come, we were all disappointed. And so roughly, I think those are the issues that I am privy to that did not go well.
Well, Kojo, you've been applauded for your performance on this Wizkid Live concert, same as the Global Citizen and several other shows that you have been on, right? I want you to share with us which other shows you're going to be on this December. Well, for the purposes of those who haven't seen you, if they want to come and see Kojo Manuel doing his thing, which other events are we looking at?
So with the events that confirmed, most of the time people book MCs last minute, and so with the events that I'm, confident and sure of being on, there's Afrochella, definitely Afrochella. I've been a host of Afrochella since the onset, so I'm really excited about that. There's also Dirty Rave by Mr. Easy. There's Manifestivities, Manifest annual show, and a couple of events at Frontback because that's where I am most of the time. There's a Tribalverse, which is on the 1st of January as well, and the conversation is still ongoing. But based off where we are, I can say that I will be on the Black Star Line Festival, Chance the Rapper, and with myself.